Okay. I want to give a quick shout out to Car Marshall. Thank y'all for sponsoring this video. Basically, Car Marshall is a service where if you click the link in my description down below and you see that search bar, type in your zip code and it'll connect you to nearby sellers near you who are selling a car. You go shopping for a car, you're looking for a car, you're searching through the website, they negotiate a reasonable price that you want to pay. So click the link in my description down below. Check out Car Marshall.
Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi my loves, it's Destin Choice and you're watching Troyce TV. So today I decided to do a video, a very controversial video about Dominicans and Latin America. Now first things first, this is going to be a very controversial video. I'm probably going to get dragged in the fucking comments. The Latin community probably going to be in this bitch trying to correct every little small detail that I make, that I get incorrect. And people probably gonna make hate videos and shit, but I'm here for the shits. And I'm basically here to talk about, are Dominicans black? Now, some of y'all probably wondering, oh, by the way, I got my coconut water here, string beans, and I got my ribeye steak. And don't judge me, it's well done. I like my shit well done. Oh, and before I start this video, I want to start by saying, guys, be careful what you guys put in your body. Some of y'all might end up dying from high cholesterol. Some of y'all might end up dying from high blood sugar. Just put healthy things in your body, okay? Because some of the stuff that y'all be saying in the comments that y'all be eating, I just be like, oh my god, some of y'all need a fucking gym membership, because... So long story short, I decided to make this video specifically because there's this ongoing debate about not just Dominicans, but people from Guyana, people from Chile, people from Brazil, people from Argentina, people from Puerto Rico. Are they black? What are they? Are they this? Are they mixed? Are they that? Are they mulattoes? What's the proper term for people who are from Latin America? Now, I'm bringing this up mainly because I was watching a ton of videos on YouTube, specifically Ancestry videos, because in case you guys didn't know, a couple months ago, I got an Ancestry DNA test, and basically, it told me that I was 92% nigga and 8% Caucasian. So, long story short, I'm black. So I decided to watch a whole bunch of other YouTube videos about people reading where their heritage is from, so on and so forth. And I stumbled across the Dominican side of YouTube. And a lot of Dominicans did Ancestry DNA results. Most of them were very proud of the results because, of course, we know Dominicans are the most ethnic and are probably known as the darkest Latinos / Hispanics in the Latin community. So a lot of them were proud of their African roots.
So I think it does help to bring more awareness to the fact that we exist. There are black or dark-skinned Hispanics. And also to show that we are not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of my black roots. Why would I be? At the end of the day, I said this in my comments, on that video, that blackness that we have, especially, us as Dominicans, like, that is what gives us, it's a sabor, that flavor, like it's the flow that we have. Like, it's because of that blackness in us, our curly hair, our shapely, voluptuous bodies that a lot of us have. Like, where do you think that comes from? I think that's something to be very proud of.
As a Dominican, I always knew I was black, but I didn't know I was like this cool black guy from Mali. That's on another level. Anyways, I'm very happy.
Then that I am, more African than European. So I'm happy and I'm proud that I'm more African than European. Not being racist or anything, but I love Africa. So
others were racist as fuck.
Yes, I am Dominican. That's all. I'm not mixed. I'm not mixed with nothing. No. Here's the thing about people when it comes to my race. When I say I'm Dominican, they try to say I'm black too. I am not black, honey. I'm not black, I'm just Dominican. Simple Dominican, Dominicana, whatever you want to call it, just Dominican, I am not mixed. If I was mixed, bro, my parents, either one of them would be so-called black, that you want to call it, I'm black. One of them will be black, one of them will be Dominican. Boom, I'm black and Dominican. No, shorty, what people be doing is they try to get like information from the back time, the old days, and try to say Dominicans came from this piece of shit, so that makes you black and that makes you this. Honey, baby girl, no, like, what are you saying? Like, that should be getting me so tight. Like, yo, chill, some real shit.
And you know, it's just a mixture of European DNA in that 71%. And then there was 7.7% Native American. It was 7.7% Native American. I actually thought it would be more, but it wasn't, and it's okay. And then there was, it showed 15% Sub-Saharan African. There's no such thing as African Latino. I mean, you can say you're from Latin America and you are of African descent, you know what I mean? But the term Latino comes from Southern Europe. The Spaniards, the Portuguese, the Italians, they're of Latin descent. There is no predominantly black country in the world that you want to be like, that you would want to live in. I'm just telling you the truth. You know, I mean, and it's for a reason. It's not because of evil doers from Europe. I'm sorry. You know, I mean, I give you this. They made a mistake bringing you over here. They should have never brought you over here to this side of the world. I'm sorry about that, you know, but please stop taking the word of these Afro-Americans. These aren't the type of people that you want to follow. You know, you don't want those results for your people.
100%. My mom does not look like me. She is white. She has good hair, thin nose. My dad, on the other hand, he's black, African descent, big wide nose having black. But you got this guy's racist. No, he's my dad. I love my dad. But that's the truth, right? Critical things, right? They have this new term that I heard for the first time probably a couple months ago, and it's called Afro-latino, meaning Afro from African and Latina. But they trying to label me as that. As I don't know if it's to claim victimhood and to see why I'm oppressed, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I am not oppressed. I have full control of my destiny. I do not need anybody to tell me how much of a victim I am to be able to feel good for myself and to be able for other people to feel bad about themselves as if we are still lingering in the past. No, I am not an Afro-Latino. I am a Dominican.
Now, I wasn't really surprised that I came across racist people, considering that me being from Miami, I grew up around a lot of Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Venezuelans, and Cubans, and black people, Jamaicans, African Americans, Haitians, just basically minorities. I grew up around a lot of them. And I noticed that a lot of the times growing up, I've seen that whenever people would ask the Dominicans, oh, you're black, you're one of us, they would say, no, I'm Dominican, I'm nothing like y'all. So that always triggered my thoughts. I'm always like, okay, why don't Dominicans identify as black? Why do black people try to claim Dominicans? And the reason I started like really thinking about this was because, in case you guys didn't know, 5 months ago, this video went viral of this young lady saying that she was nowhere near black. If I was walking past her, I think she was a black girl. I'm just saying. Now, before I get into this video, I want to make a quick disclaimer. Not all Dominicans are like this. Not all people from Latin countries, Spanish-speaking countries, think like this. Not all Afro-Latinos and Latinas have the mindset of they don't want to be attached to being black. Let me make that disclaimer, okay? Just making that disclaimer now. So, long story short, I'm going to get started with this video by saying that a lot of people give Dominicans a lot of shit because they feel like that they're self-hating motherfuckers and that they don't want to claim their blackness. And a lot of the times, for a lot of Dominicans, it's true, because a lot of Dominicans, let's just be real, a lot of them ruin it for others. It's like one bad apple ruins it for the bunch. So because one bad apple ruins it for the bunch, people automatically think that all Dominicans have self-hate issues, where I've met Dominicans who can boldly say, yes, I'm black. And then I met other Dominicans who say, no, I'm Dominican. Newsflash, Dominican is not a race. It is a nationality. Being Cuban is not a race. It is a nationality. Being Jamaican is a nationality. Being Haitian is a nationality. Me, I'm Haitian. So just to get to the point here, are Dominicans black? No, Dominicans aren't black for shit. Dominicans and the Dominican Republic are 11% black, to be exact. If people do their research, people would know that according to the 2017 census, 11% of Dominicans are black, 16% are white, and 72% identify as Moreno, mulatto, which apparently those words are offensive because they describe animal breeds, and multiracial. Saying that all Dominicans are black are almost like boxing them into one category. That's like saying all Americans are pilgrims. Some of y'all are wondering, why the fuck is this a topic? Why are you talking about this? What does this matter? Who gives a fuck what these people identify as? Well, many Latin countries disregard their African roots and their African heritage side, specifically because a lot of people don't want to be attached to black people because, in case you know, being black comes with a lot of disadvantages in the world because systematically black people aren't built to survive. Systematically, white people, and the closest thing to white is ahead. They're systematically ahead of us, which is why the whole argument of black people can't be racist comes from, because people have the mentality of black people can't be racist. I don't necessarily agree with it, but then I don't disagree with it. I see where people are coming from, so I'm neutral with the shits. But a lot of people have this argument that black people can't be racist because we're looked at as bottom of the barrel. We're looked at as caca. We're looked at as the bottom, under the shoe. That's how black people are looked at. So when Latin communities and Latin countries and people who are damn near as dark as me and as dark as Wesley Snipes, who are of Latin descent, say, I'm not black, I'm Cuban, I'm not black, I'm Venezuelan. When they say things like that, it basically, it rubs a lot of black people the wrong way. Because to them, it's just like, how can you sit up here and say that you're a nationality and not claim your blackness? I mean, that stems from white supremacy, which I kind of do agree. It kind of does stem from white supremacy. Because if you think about the history of the Dominican Republic, in case you guys didn't know, let me give you guys a quick history lesson. So, the Dominican Republic shares the island with Haiti. Haiti has the west side, the Dominican Republic has the east side. Now, the west side was invaded by the French, and then eventually Haitians weren't with the shits anymore, and they rebelled because they were overworked and treated like shit. So eventually Haitians rebelled and took over the island. And the other side, the east side, that was the Dominican Republic, was taken over by the crackers, the Spaniards, the Europeans. So the white side basically took over the Dominican Republic, but they weren't as overworked and as tortured as the Haitians. So then eventually the Spaniards brought their family and friends over to the Dominican Republic because the Dominican Republic had amazing agriculture. So the Dominican Republic became home for a lot of Europeans and Spaniards. And because of the crossbreeding and the Dominicans breeding and having sex, basically fucking the white people, that led to the entire nation being mixed. It took them a while to get their independence, and since it took them a while, the country became predominantly mixed people and more white people than black people. So Haiti doesn't have that much self-hate issues because they're undeniably black. But Dominicans, on the other hand, a lot of them feel like that they're more superior. If not, they think that they're better or not on the same level as blacks. They feel like that they're better than blacks because a lot of them see themselves as mixed. Black people were treated like animals and dogs, and they felt like that they were better than that because, for one, the original Dominicans were slaves, which means most of the Dominicans, yes, you are a descendant of a slave. If you are from a Latin country or you are from a black country, pretty much all of us, we are all descendants of colonization, which means if you were either the oppressor, you were either the colonizer, or you were either the damn slave. Most Latin countries and Hispanic countries were run by white. That led to a civilization of people being whitewashed and being brainwashed to thinking that white was better. And it wasn't just like this in Latin countries, of course, it was like this all over the world. It'll never end because racism lives on forever. Europeans, Spaniards, and colonizers did a number on in this world. Because of them, racism is a big thing. Now, people love to say that racism is only big in America, or only Americans see color. Race is only a big thing in America. Actually, it isn't. It's just more publicized and talked about in America. Many people see it as, well, if you guys stop making things about race, maybe race wouldn't be an issue. Or how about this, bitch? How about you go fucking jump in a ditch, bitch? Let me stop. But people don't take a chance to understand that racism is systematic and racism was drilled into the world. I mean, slave trade was literally all over the world. Almost every country was practicing slave trade. Slave trade, oppression, and racism. Almost every country was practicing it. So, in reality, racism goes hand in hand and contributes to why the world is the way it is today. In my opinion, the only way it'll end is it starts with white people. Until white people can go hand in hand and stand next to minorities, uplift minorities, and recognize their privilege, and until white people stop putting down minorities, not all white people, of course, but the white people who are part of oppression to this day, until white people can stand up for minorities, and until white people could bring up and raise up minorities rather than put them down and degrade other people's culture, not all white people, but the ones who are part of oppression, there will never be unity, there will never be peace. It starts with white people. But anyways, back to Dominicans. So, Dominicans are looked at as the self-hating breed of black people when it comes to the black community. Whenever black people think Dominicans, they think, oh, black people who speak Spanish. But then there's other Dominicans who say, no, we are not black people who speak Spanish. We are Latinos. We are this. We are that. Now, of course, I can't talk about segregation, Latins, Latinos, and the fact that they want to be associated with black people. I can't talk about that without bringing up another very, very prevalent subject and another prevalent systematic way to segregate black people and other races. I gotta talk about the one-drop rule. Now, the one-drop rule, some of you guys might be very familiar with it if you guys pay attention to American history. But for those of you guys who aren't from America, and for those of you guys who are of Latin descent and aren't familiar with the one-drop rule, the one-drop rule is basically a systematic rule where if you had any black in you at all, to the point where it was noticeable, it doesn't matter if you're biracial, it doesn't matter if you're multiracial, you are still black. So let's talk about someone like, for example, these motherfuckers up here. These motherfuckers who made videos trying to shit on the fact that people try to box them into the Afro-latino category. In reality, if you look at their African features, like their nose, their hair, their skin, their features, if you were to look at them, you would automatically think, oh, black features, you are black. So in reality, the white people would have treated them the same way they treated people like who look like me. You have black features, you're one of them. You're less than human. So the one-drop rule applied during slavery, during segregation, during Jim Crow laws. So a lot of the times, Latinos and Latinas don't want to be associated with black because they see it as, oh no, y'all trying to box us in. And they don't want to be seen as white because they see it as, oh no, you're trying to box me in. Because even white Hispanics get annoyed when you try to box them in as you're white passing, because they see it as, no, you're promoting the one-drop rule in the Latin community, and that's America. Leave that shit in America. We don't want to be associated with that. Leave it in America, because the one-drop rule was created to say that multiracial or not, you can only be one race, which was black. If you were anything passing a certain, if you existed in the world where people automatically looked at you and assumed your race, you were black. So the one-drop rule stems from slavery, and a lot of people think that if you try to box Latinos and Latinas in one race, it promotes the one-drop rule. Now, many Latins don't want to be associated with the slavery stigma, because a lot of times when you tell a Latin person, when you tell a Latin or Hispanic person that obviously looks like me, has hair texture just like me, has a nose just like mine, or lips just as big as mine, a lot of times when you tell them you are black, they see it as, no, I am not, because in a lot of Latin countries, they see black as less than, and they see black as African American. They see it as you're trying to call them African American, or you're trying to label them as Haitians. And the one thing Dominicans don't want to be labeled as is Haitians, because Haitians have it very, very hard being connected with the Dominican Republic. Of course, Haiti ain't innocent, but at the same time, back in 1937, a dictator by the name of Rafael Trujillo, he ordered the assassination and the killing and the genocide of all Haitians that lived on Dominican Republic soil. So basically, a dictator in 1937 was trying to destroy and eradicate all Haitians because he felt like that they were trying to tarnish the bloodline. He wanted to whiten it. And there's also a saying in the Dominican Republic, and this is why I say Dominican Republic is very, very, very headstrong when it comes to racism and colorism. And a lot of times they don't even realize it because a lot of them have been so fucking brainwashed. Not all, some. A lot of them have been so fucking brainwashed to think that being black is tarnishing your DNA. There's also a saying in the Dominican Republic, I don't remember what it is, but I'm going to insert a clip.
There's this phrase called adelantar la raza, which basically means advance the race. And it's this really awful idea that, you shouldn't marry or have children with anyone darker than you, that you should always try to, advance the race.
Literally try to just mess up the census. It's such a flawed system. So I check every single thing that applies across the board.
Yes, there's a saying in the Dominican Republic that you have to crossbreed with somebody who is lighter than you or somebody who is close to white so that you can enhance the bloodline, because they have the mentality and they were taught by the Spaniards who conquered them. The original Dominicans were slaves, but they were the slaves that people tolerated because at the time Dominicans weren't being treated as badly as any other country. Dominican slaves weren't being treated as badly in any other country, but they were still being treated badly. So it was one of those things where it was like, okay, you know what? Y'all are still slaves. Y'all still niggas. But we finna bring some white bitches up in here, and if y'all fuck these white bitches, then, we could bring in some, we could bring some lightness into the community. And not even just Dominican Republic, but in Latin countries all over the world. Because people have to understand that slave ships didn't just drive to Jamaica. They didn't just drive to Haiti. They didn't just sail to predominantly black countries. They also dropped off slaves in Spanish-speaking countries like Guatemala and Venezuela and Brazil and Puerto Rico and plenty of other countries. So in reality, that became Latin America. So Latin America was made and started out by a whole bunch of slaves. So if you are from a Latin country and you are from the Caribbean, Caribbean doesn't just mean black. If you are from the Caribbean or you have ancestors that are from the Caribbean or are from these countries, you are a descendant of a slave. If you are not a descendant of a slave, you are a descendant of a colonizer. So yes, we are all products of slavery, and if it weren't for slavery, none of y'all would be here and I wouldn't be here. But I don't look at that as a bad thing when I say I'm a descendant of a slave. I'm fine with that. But many Dominicans, not even just Dominicans, but Latin countries aren't okay with that stigma, because the way America has portrayed black people, because America has a fault in this too. America has portrayed black people as being lazy. All of them are like always slouching. All of them have big red lips, or all of them just minstrel shows, blackface, and the fact that all of them speak with southern accents. A lot of them do not articulate themselves, and they wear oversized clothes. That created a narrative, and that poisoned the youth into thinking that all black people were this way, which led to the older generation into thinking that being black is far from okay, and we have to try our best to separate ourselves from that. So Dominicans try to disassociate themselves from that. Now, I respect the Dominicans who connect with it and they understand it, and there's also a new saying, well, it's not really new, but it's popularized now because now people are speaking up about it, a new saying called Afro-Latino or Afro-Latina. And it basically means you are from a Spanish-speaking country, that is your nationality, but you're most likely black. You're mostly black. You're mostly black because your ancestors were on that damn slave ship, just to sum it up. Basically, you're black. You're just as black as me. In case you already know, there are plenty of Afro-Latinas. Christina Milian, Afro-Latina. Jocelyn Hernandez, Afro-Latina. Lupita Nyong'o, Afro-Latina. Yes, a lot of people don't know this, but Lupita is actually Mexican. She's Mexican-Kenyan. And there's people like Lala Anthony, Amara Negra, and I'm not even going to say Cardi B, because Cardi B don't even identify as black. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. So due to the Dominican Republic's self-hatred because of I blame Rafael Trujillo. I blame him because he eradicated any black person that lived in the Dominican Republic to clean up the bloodline. And he killed over 30,000 Haitians. Let me just get that clear. Not even Haitians, but black people. So he eradicated a ton of black people, and that stemmed from self-hatred, because in case you guys didn't know, he was also a descendant of a slave. Look at this nigga. He literally looks like a light-skinned black guy. Like, come on now. Like, he literally looks ethnic as fuck. Like, look at his nose, look at his skin complexion. Obviously, he was swimming in self-hate, and he hated himself. So because he hated himself, he then, him being a dictator, decided, you know what? We got to make everybody believe that being black is bad. So he then decided to create things like propaganda, and he played a role in the media promoting propaganda. And the Dominican Republic even sells these little ugly ass toys that promote how black people are and look, and there's a ton of shit. So colorism runs deep in the Dominican Republic, and it runs deep because it's a whitewashed place. It's a very, very whitewashed place, just like America. So racism was drilled into America, and the only way to end racism in America is if they burn this bitch to the fucking ground, and the only way to end racism in the Dominican Republic is if they burn that shit to the ground and start fresh. That's really what's going to end racism, because racism was created and started and popularized, and slavery was popularized and started due to them taking Africans from Africa and dropping them off in random places and forcing them to work to breed cattle, make cut up sugar cane, make sugar, and make coffee. It's not the Dominican Republic's fault. It's not any other Latin country's fault who has a lot of black people why they deny their blackness. Some don't, some do. Let me say it again. Some don't, some do. But a lot of the times when they deny their blackness, a lot of times they say fuck shit, like try to degrade blackness. Like, they look at blackness as they're sellouts, because you guys know, Africans also sold their own people to predominantly slave-ran colonizers. So yeah, Africans sold their own people, and a lot of people from Latin communities see it as, no, y'all sold y'all own people. That would have never been us. That's not attached to us. We're not a part of that. We don't want to be associated with that. Y'all sold y'all people. You guys are slaves. You guys are picking cotton. You guys are this. We're different. We're a different breed. But in reality, these motherfuckers is just as black as me. They probably just got one white parent, and that's about it. So in reality, they see it as, we're not associated with that because we're mixed breeds. Almost like picture a big ass cafeteria. Asians sit over there, Indians sit over there, black people sit over there, and whoever the fuck sits over there. And then you got the mixed kids who don't know where the fuck they sit in because they're a combination of different things, which was basically what Latino and being Hispanic is, being a combination of different things. So they're a combination of mainly Dominicans, or a combination of Indians, they're a combination of black people, and they're a combination of the white people. So Dominicans basically take a lot of pride in saying I'm Dominican, or Venezuelans take a lot of pride in saying I'm Venezuelan or I'm Cuban, specifically because they take pride in their own Latin culture, specifically because they've been isolated from the world due to the fact that they don't fit in anywhere. So they isolate themselves even more by trying to spin the narrative that their nationality is a race. But it's not the fact that a lot of them are stupid. It's just the fact that a lot of them don't want anything to do with race.
They got color. You see my man Mellito? ¿Qué color tú eres? Black. Okay. See it. Hey, so everybody is black. Everybody knows they're black. This is my cousin right here. My name, Primo. ¿Qué lo que es Primo? Chile, man. What color you are? What color you? Black. I'm a nigga. Oh, you heard it. Hey, you heard what he said. So the point is that people down here, they know that they're black. What happened is that a long time ago, when this country, in this country's inception, came the people of, they were already here, the Taino Indians, okay, and then you had the African slaves here. To this island came about 700,000 African slaves. So in order for there to be the colors that you see, that's African descendants naturally. It's African blood, but it's also Indian blood here. What happened is many of the Taino Indians were ran out because they didn't want to be slaves to the Portuguese and the Spanish. And so what they did was they went off and they made subcultures with Africans. That's what they did in Puerto Rico as well. So that's the reason you see what you will see light-skinned people, or you will see even dark-skinned people with quote-unquote good hair. You see these guys with they're dark, but they have curly hair. But when have you seen a Indian tall like this guy and cut and strong like that? That's African roots, man. You know, a lot of these guys, you see my little dog here, you see him right here. These are African mixed with Indian people as well. The lighter people, naturally the lighter people are gonna be more European, okay? But the purpose of this is to let you know that, hey man, there's black people down here too. You have black people everywhere. The African influence is everywhere. Some Dominicans in New York may identify, they may say that they're not black, and the reason that they're saying that they're not black is because of the stigma that's attached to black people. They don't want to be attached to that.
A lot of them say they don't even bring up race in their household and race isn't a factor. But I see that as bullshit. Race plays a big factor. In reality, black people are treated as less than the Dominican Republic. I know this being Haitian and having relatives and ancestors being treated like shit and or even killed in the Dominican Republic. So in reality, they look at darker people in the Dominican Republic as less than, not even the Dominican Republic, even in Guyana, even in places like Chile, even in most Latin countries, black people are seen as less than, because the darker you are, the more likely you are to be a descendant of a slave. The closer you are to a descendant of a slave, basically. I mean, y'all, let's be realistic here. People have the idea, not even, and I'm not saying Dominicans do, but many Americans or Canadians or people all over the world have the idea that Latins only look like the Shakiras, the Jennifer Lopez's, that Latin people only look like people like, you know, Ricky Martin, or, you know, look like fucking long brunette, jet black hair, straight hair, a certain hair type, or olive green skin complexion. People don't realize that Asians can be Latin. People don't realize that black people can also be Latin. People don't realize that specifically because of the media that's America and in Latin countries. I mean, how about this? I challenge every single one of y'all watching this to grab your TV remote, turn to your local Spanish channel. Pick a Spanish channel. Go to that Spanish channel and let me know if you can see at least, what y'all see. Like, y'all probably see a game show, y'all probably see a drama, or y'all probably see the news. Let me know if you can see at least 3 people that look like me. Let me know if y'all can find at least 3 people that look like Lupita. Let me know if y'all can find at least 3 people that look like Lala. You really won't find people who look like that, specifically because the media is trying to spin a narrative that most Latin people have the olive green complexion, basically the closest thing to the European standard of beauty. Look at magazines. Look at brochures. Whenever the Dominican Republic is trying to push a travel brochure. Look at a travel brochure in the Dominican Republic. Do you see anyone that's just as dark as me? Probably not. Look at Latinos on Google. As you scroll through, you know that most of the people have jet black, straight hair, far from black, have European features, olive green skin complexion. Yes, colorism and racism is deep rooted in a lot of Latin countries, and people just don't talk about it as much. So I hate when people say, oh, that's just America. Like, only Americans think about race so much. Because in America, we had things like the Jim Crow laws. And the Jim Crow laws was inspired by a song from the 1800s, which that's a whole other video. If y'all want to make that shit, I'll explain it. The Jim Crow laws is just a whole fuck ton of nonsense. A whole bunch of cases and a whole bunch of murders that were never solved back in the day. I can get into that into a whole other video. This video will be like 3 hours long if I talk about that. But the Jim Crow laws was basically a law that said that black people were less than human. We were less than human because of the way that black women were shaped, because of our heads, because of the way our heads were shaped, the way our noses looked, the way our mouths looked. We were compared to apes. We were compared to monkeys. And that was popularized over the world. The minstrel shows, blackface shows were popular all throughout the world. Not just in America, but all throughout the world. Which is why people look at black Americans a certain way. Shit. I'm Haitian, and even Haitians don't even like Black Americans, don't even want to associate with Black Americans. The media is poisoning the youth, and because the media is poisoning the youth, you got motherfuckers who are out here making videos saying shit like this.
You know, some of you want to point out my nose. I used to box when I was younger. My nose is broken, you know, but maybe it is whatever, African. I don't care. You know, maybe I do have African lips. I don't care. You see my complexion? Does my complexion match the complexion of an average African American or any African? You see my eye color? These aren't context. These are my eyes. You know, my hair. This is my hair. My hair is naturally like this. I didn't do anything to it. Same people will be the ones that will tell you that you are uneducated. You know, and they'll say it like this: yo, you better read them books. You better read them books. You sound mad ignorant, yo. And I'm like, yes, I am the one that sounds ignorant.
Bitch! So that's how I see it. Just the fucking ignorance. The ignorance that's being taught to Dominicans. The ignorance that's being taught to Latin America, the ignorance that's being taught to the youth, and the fact that you will never see people who look like me being put on magazines, or people who are as dark as me being put in TV shows, unless they're playing a pimp or a prostitute or a criminal or a robber or a slave or a maid or a butler or a waiter. You will never see people who look like me. It's always the Rico Suave looking niggas with the gel in their hair, and the niggas with the olive green complexion. They're actually trying to wipe out the blackness in their community because they feel like blackness has ruined their community. Because for one, they're a little bit closer to white than anybody else. Because why? They're multiracial. But here's the thing, here's the twist. Dominicans, whether you're Venezuelan and you're Afro or you're this, if you don't look white people will never accept you, period. And let me get into people like Cardi B. See, let me get into the whole being black when it's convenient thing. Let me stretch for this. Take a bite. So being black when it's convenient. Being Afro-latino when it's convenient. I noticed that it's a very common thing for people that want to be black now. Being black is a trend. People love black culture, but they don't love black people as much as they love black culture. But that's another video. People love black culture. Black women are the blueprint of what every race of women want to be. Black women are the trendsetters. Black people are the trendsetters. Now, all of a sudden, there's a trend of people wanting to be black when it's convenient, like people like Cardi B. Now, when you look at Cardi B and you look at her hair type, you look at her features, you automatically think, oh, obviously, well, when I first saw Cardi B, when I was first introduced to her on Instagram and as a reality star on Love and Hip Hop, I looked at Cardi B as just, a light-skinned black woman who just so happens to be Spanish. I looked at her as Afro-Latina. No. Cardi B doesn't even consider herself black because she felt as though that her and Offset are in an interracial relationship. So when she was asked about things like about black issues in her interview, she basically sat with the Latin people. Which I guess I can understand because the Latin people are a lot more welcoming when it comes to multiracial people, because the Latin community is a melting pot of multiracial individuals. So black people aren't very welcoming of multiracial and biracial people. I will admit that. But then again, people like Cardi B are out here trying to be black all of a sudden and claim their Afro-Latino roots when it comes to winning fucking 3 BET Awards. All of a sudden, Cardi B wins 3 BET Awards, and out of nowhere, she says, yeah, I'm using black culture, but I'm not a product of two white people. At the end of the day, I got black in me. But before, when she was getting called out for using black culture, she was trying to use the whole, nah. Rap culture is living that life. Rap culture is that street shit. Actually, no, bitch. Rap culture is also black culture. Rap culture was popularized and started by black people. So, for people like Cardi, who all of a sudden who wins black awards, because imagine, me personally, I feel like Cardi B winning a BET award, winning NAACP awards, winning awards that are predominantly given to people of color, who are specifically black, of course, because, you know, black people don't have as much, black people don't get that much shine when it comes to awards in Hollywood, because Hollywood is racist. So, people like Cardi B winning an award, to me, when I see Cardi B win a BET award, I see it as Jennifer Lopez winning a BET award. I'm like, if y'all gonna give Cardi B an award, y'all might as well give Jennifer Lopez an award. If y'all gonna give Cardi B an award, y'all might as well give Enrique Iglesias an award. That's how I see it, because Cardi B doesn't identify as black. I don't look at Cardi B as black specifically because she wants to be black when it's convenient. And people might say, who cares if she wants to be black when it's convenient? Bitch, I care, because when you see me, what do you see? What do you see? You see that I'm black, right? I'm undeniably black. When I go to supermarkets, bitch, I'm black, okay? When I go to supermarkets in my slides and in my sweats, I'm looked at as black. I can't run from my blackness. So that's why I have problem with people who claim black when it's convenient. Because me, I can't run away from my blackness. I have to stay and stand next to it. Amara Negra, she is the perfect example for somebody who is just black excellence. I mean, look at her. She stands in her blackness. She accepts her blackness. She stands by being Afro-Latina. She loves the fact that her ancestors are from Africa. She loves the fact that she's Latina. And she also stands by the fact that people just love to shit on her and hate on her, specifically because she likes to be considered Afro-Latina. But she stands in her blackness, even when it's at a disadvantage for her. Lala Anthony, Lupita Nyong'o, people like them, I respect them because they're not black only when it's convenient. They're black when it comes to speaking up on black issues. And they're black when people like to question their blackness, or when they like to question their blackness because they speak Spanish. But I don't really take Cardi B seriously, specifically because she's a Dominican. She is taught that, no, you are not black. Because to them, they claim their Dominican heritage and their culture as we're a combination of different things. But then there are a lot of Dominicans who would rather claim their Taino roots when it comes to their dark skin and their larger noses and their features that are far from their European standard of beauty. Dominicans love to claim the Taino part of them, when in reality, most Dominicans are less than 10%. And I ask, with the biggest curiosity ever, what's wrong with being black? I'm proud that my ancestors came from pain and hurt and suffering so I wouldn't have to. Because if you think about it, we're all connected to slavery. Rather you're related to the colonizers, rather you're related to the Europeans. Regardless, some way, somehow, we're all connected to slavery.
I'm not black. I said, first of all, I have African roots. I will say that. I will claim that. We all came on a boat and we got dropped off different places. Black is an American thing. I've never heard anybody overseas refer to them as black people. I've heard them as African people from a certain part, but not black. So I'm like, okay, so that must be a cultural thing. We have to claim that we black, but Jamaicans and Trinidadians can say that Trinidad is a Jamaican, and nobody say nothing. They Caribbean, that's it, like this West Indian. I'm like, Dominican's not right there. Even Haiti right there too. Like,
you know, even though the colonizers were trash and evil monsters, I do gotta hand it to them. They were evil geniuses because they did manipulate the entire world into creating colorism and systematic racism. Apparently, people feel as though that there's a black agenda and that black people are trying to force them under the umbrella, but nobody's trying to force nothing. Open a book, do your research. I don't see it as a black agenda. For all I care, you can identify as a fucking squirrel. All I'm saying is, when you get called out for saying nigga, don't get mad. Because remember, you ain't black. So either stand in your blackness, period, or don't stand in it at all. It's either you're black or you're not black. Or it's either you own your African heritage, even though you're biracial or multiracial, or you don't. Simple as that. Black people have been oppressed for way too long to be okay with people wanting to claim black when it's convenient, and for people to shit on the black race when they feel like it, just because it's seen as less than. And who says it's less than? The media? So to conclude this video, I don't give two shits and a biscuit what you identify as. All I'm saying is this, and all I know is this: the only race that matters and should matter is the human race. If we all just treat each other equal, and if we were all seen as equal, and if people loved black people as much as they loved black culture, and if people uplifted one another despite the color of their skin, we wouldn't have these issues. It's crazy how colonization, racism, and crackers pretty much destroyed the world and whitewashed history. I mean, shit. Think about it. Salsa, merengue, bachata, all of those are inspired by African dances. They don't just call Africa the motherland for anything. So it's kind of heartbreaking when a lot of Latinos and the Latin community like to disregard and ignore the African roots because Africa is the birthplace for everything. And if it weren't for Africa, a lot of your favorite Latins, Latinos, and a lot of you Latin and Latinos who don't even like to acknowledge your blackness or even your African heritage or African roots, a lot of y'all wouldn't be alive or here today had it not been for Africa. So put some respect on your so at the end of the day, if you don't want to claim your blackness, it's perfectly fine. I completely understand when Cubans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, and Portuguese and Brazilians want to claim their Brazilian culture or whatever culture you are, whatever Latin culture you are. They rather claim that as their race because they're very proud of it, because a lot of Latin countries have been through a lot, and a lot of Latin countries have gone through a lot just so that they can stay independent, because damn near most Latin countries are independent. So at the end of the day, I can't shame them for wanting to be prideful in their country, but at the same time, don't shit on black culture and don't shit on black people and don't shit on the whole what you call a race agenda just because people are just telling you about your own history. Let's just be real here at the end of the day. So yes, at the end of the day, that's just my thoughts and my views on how I look at the situation. So in conclusion, Dominicans are not black. Dominicans are multiracial. 11% of Dominicans who live in the Dominican Republic are black. The 16%, like I said before at the beginning, are white. And then the other percentage is, of course, which is like 1 or 2%, is Arab. And then the 72% is obviously multiracial. To each its own. But that's my views and how I look at the video. I want to hear y'all thoughts in the comment section down below. I know some of y'all going to be dragging me. I know there's going to be fucking paragraphs in these damn comment sections. I know some of y'all going to be dragging me, but it is what it is. I don't give a fuck. And yeah, that's that. That was that for this video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Give your thoughts to me in the comment section down below. And yeah, that's that. Trace out this bitch. It's been too long and I'm lost without you. What am I gonna do? Said I've been needing you, wanting you, wondering if you the same when you lost without you. What are your hearts still mine? I wanna cry sometime. I miss you. Off to college, yes, you went away. Straight from high school, you went and left me. We were close friends, also lovers. Did everything for one another. Now you're gone and you're also what we did now. And I gotta how someone to me, hear me calling for you. Calling, it's been too long and I'm lost without you, and I'm gonna do. Said I've been needing you, who are you, wondering you're the same, and who's been with you? Is it your heart still mine? I wanna cry sometime, I miss you. I miss you and over there. Oh, there's a brother that I don't even feel like calling. Don't even feel like talking. Do you understand it? I can understand now. It's been too long and I'm lost without you. Tell me what I'm gonna do. Yeah, yeah. Wonder where you are. It's up to you. If your heart's still mine. Hey, I miss you. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, I made it 50 minutes. So not gonna be more ads in this shit. So, yes, y'all. Let me know if you made it to the end. Say you made it to the end, so just so I know, and I'll love your comment. And yeah. Let me know what's all guys next. Tell me if y'all enjoyed the little concert. Yeah, that's that. Thank you.